Hey, up next on the MARR Army Rock Show, we have got Emily Lazar, otherwise known as September Mourning, with us on the show. Recently got to see them on tour not too long ago, and they've got a single out now called Unholy. Emily, welcome to the show.
Hi.
So, hey, it's so nice to have you. Now, let's talk a little bit for maybe those who don't quite know you, as well as we've gotten to see a bunch of times. For those that don't know the history of the band, there's no separating the band from comic books. In fact, they're kind of tightly tied together. Why don't you tell folks a little bit about how that genesis occurred with the band and the comic book tie?
It's a transmedia project, which means it's a project that's formulated around a storyline. So the characters in the storyline is what drives the project, and then the music and everything kind of like is an offshoot of the storyline. So, and there's different media outlets that are offshoots. So there's videos, and there's comic books, and there's this and that and the other thing, and it's all central to the storyline.
So going back to the formation of the band, I mean, which kind of came first? Did the music come first, or the story, the graphic novel kind of stuff come first?
Well, like I said, it's a transmedia project, so it's all central to a storyline. So the characters in the story came first.
So for those that haven't gotten a chance to see you perform live, talk a little bit about how the kind of comics come to life in your live act and what that looks like for folks that haven't seen it.
So basically, it's like we're telling these stories of these souls that have been swapped and and traded out and taken. And there's like, if you haven't read the comic books, September is this human reaper hybrid that is that her soul is deemed to be taken by Fate, who's personified in the comic book, and Fate sends all these reapers down to take it, and the one that's chosen to take her soul falls in love with her and ends up not taking her soul but transforming her into a half reaper, half human hybrid. And so she awakens with this power and not knowing what she's supposed to do. All she knows is that she's supposed to collect souls, so she goes around doing this. But as she's doing it, the humanity part of her kind of like gives her a pause, and she looks at these souls and she absorbs everything that they've thought and felt in about like 2 seconds when she takes a soul. And she's like, this person has stuff that they need to do on this planet still, and so she swaps them into another body. So she's starting to play God. So it's all about that. So that's all throughout the comic books. There's a bunch of storylines that goes with that, and also the bigger picture of her battling fate for the fate of humanity, basically. And so it's this epic battle between the living and the dead, and that's all in the graphic novels and comic books, and that's animated on a screen behind us, and there's different interims of the storyline being told, and then the songs and things like that kind of play into all that, and we're dressed as the characters.
So, hey, let's talk a little bit about the single Unholy. Man, it's getting a lot of traction. Tell us first musically a little bit about, you guys had a great producer on this. Tell us a little bit about the recording of the tune musically.
Yeah, we recorded this. We had Chris Lord-Alge involved in it, Nick Scott, Sahaj Chikatin, myself, obviously, and Rich Juswick, who plays Riven in the band and is my guitar player. We all kind of wrote this together in different kind of like areas and put it all together. Josh Naper helped as well with the production and stuff like that. It's just kind of a collaboration of a lot of different minds, and it was really a cool sort of song that has a lot of different elements in it combined to make one really cool rock song.
Now, lyrically, I was drawn to the little phrase in the song, "Am I another prey you feast on every day until I lose my strength?" Who are you talking to? Are you talking to your soul? Are you talking to someone outside in that lyric?
Well, as in my point of view, the Unholy is about something or someone that has control of you, or in a way, like you love them so much, or you're kind of attached to them so much, you don't realize that they're basically destroying you, and so the whole song is just kind of like a little self-deprecating, because you're not really seeing the worth of yourself. You're just seeing the worth of this thing that you're attached to, and it's kind of like a parasite, and it's feeding on you. But it's so you realize that in the bridge, you start realizing that this is what's happening. This person, this thing, this person, this whatever, whatever you're attached to is actually feeding on you, and it's like you're the host, and it's feeding on you. And so that realization happens in the bridge, and then by the end of it, it's kind of like, I can't be myself. I can't value myself and figure out my self-worth if I'm still yours, So, and that's kind of the outcome of the song, is that realizing that you need to get away from this thing that's just drawing on you.
Now, a song I've enjoyed seeing you perform before is Glass Animals. Tell me a little bit about that tune.
Oh, that's a great song. It's basically about, I call it our Deftones song because it reminds me of Deftones a little bit. But it's just really swirly and cool. And it's just about, it's about knowing that we're all broken, and basically we have to be broken to survive, because in the breaking process and the rebuilding process and the breaking again and the rebuilding and the breaking and rebuilding, that's what life is. It's constantly this pattern of breaking and rebuilding, and every time you rebuild stronger, and you learn things and you move forward. And so it's just kind of like recognizing that, like, shatter to survive, like we have to shatter to survive, like we have to constantly do this pattern.
Now, I've been reading a little bit about your biography, and people may not know, ballet has played a really important part of your life. Why don't you share a little bit of what ballet has meant to you and the formation?
Well, I was set to be a professional prima ballerina when I was really young. Like, I started on stage when I was about 3 or 4, and I continued and got into professional dance companies and things like that. And that was supposed to be my life. And then I had a really bad accident, and so I had to figure out something else. And so my second chance at life was this second coming into music and theater and combining theater and dance and costuming and music and everything and art and everything into September Mourning. So September Mourning's like my second chance at life, as September is people's second chance at life.
So when we watch you perform, how much of Emily do we see in September, and how much of September do we see in Emily?
I think September is basically like, if you put a magnifying glass against like the different facets of my personality, that's what you get when you get that on stage. It's like just a magnification of all these things that's inside of me. And I think that's what good art is. It's just a magnification of the things that are inside of you.
Now, you guys are heading back on tour in August, September. Why don't you tell folks a little bit about where not every date, but kind of who we're going to see you with and what the tour is going to be about?
We're doing some stuff with Mushroom Head. We're doing Fear Fest in West Virginia. We're doing Dragon Con. We're doing some dates with Smile Empty Soul. We're doing some headline dates. You can find all of our tour dates at septembermourning.com/tour dates.
So, hey, one or two more things, and I appreciate your time. Tell us a little bit more about the availability of the graphic novel, because it looks like you can kind of pick up the collection on your online store.
You can, if you want to get the comic books or the graphic novels, you can go to barnesandnoble.com, you can go to target.com, you can go to Image Comics, you can go to Top Cow web store, and you can get them all online. Amazon carries it as well.
Now, I want to let you plug one more thing. It looks like you've kind of got like a clothing line out there that you started. Yeah, EmilyLazarLovesMe.com is just a bunch of shirts. So, like, I do a Patreon that I have out every month, and people have joined my community on there. And it's just my social media presence has gotten a little overwhelming, and I can't really be as personal on my social media as I used to. And so I started this Patreon account to be, it's more of, it's a paid account. You have to subscribe, but it's only $1 a month if you want, or you can do bigger rewards and you get different things like cameras in the mail of, disposable cameras of photos that I've taken all month. And cool.
You get really fun stuff, like a lot of different Skype chats, hangouts, postcards of different photo shoots that I do. And on the Patreon, I do a bunch of photo shoots, and I do a bunch of art shoots and stuff like that. And I'm going to start painting as well, so that'll be available on my Patreon. But all of that is just available for a monthly thing. It's patreon.com/Emily Lazar. And when I started that, I wanted to do some sort of like clothing to replicate some of the art shoots that I've done and things like that, and people have really wanted it. So I did a little clothing line, EmilyLazarLovesMe.com, where you can get some of those shoots that I did on a t-shirt, a black and white, and it's like a vintage sort of wash t-shirt. It's really soft, and they're really pretty and pre-shrunk, and they're just cool. And then they have my signature on the back. So it's a good everyday shirt to layer under a flannel or something like that. It's just a really good hangout shirt.
Hey, so a lot of bands, when they get ready to take stage, they throw on a t-shirt and jeans and they hit the stage right away. How long do you guys have to take to get ready? Because you're full performance. How long does it take you guys to get ready, and has it gotten quicker over the years?
It's 3 hours for me. The guys are really fast. They take about 15 minutes. But because I don't ask them to do much, but they just have to put on their jackets and put on some paint on their arms. But for me, it's about 3 hours with the wigs and the makeup and the costume.
Wow. Well, hey, Emily, man, I really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule. There's September Mourning out of Los Angeles. Check out the latest single, Unholy, and be sure to check out September Mourning on tour. Emily, thank you so much for spending time with us today.
Yeah, thank you so much. And be sure to follow us and stream us on Spotify and all the different Apple Music, different platforms like that. It really does help us out.
You got it. We'll make sure we share that up with everybody. And Emily, good luck on the next tour.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.